Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Saturday, it's match day in real life, and it's also match day at the Alternate Reality Football League. The results have already been posted on the website, so let's just take you through what has happened today. As you can see from the headline there, Liverpool and Spurs have won again, but Sunderland, previously unbeaten, have now lost it. So round nine's results, as you can see there in the Premier League, Altrincham and York with a 1-1 draw. Darlington have beaten Shrewsbury 2-1. Gainsborough Trinity and Sheffield United in a 1-1 draw. Leeds with a 2-0 win over Ipswich. Liverpool comfortable 2-0 win over Huddersfield. Middlesbrough with a 3-1 win over Millwall. Rotherham with that stunning 1-0 win over Sunderland. 2 minutes the goal was scored, and that was it. Spurs 4, Burton Albion 2. Welling 4, Nuneaton 3. And Wolves 4, Yeovil 1. So this is how the Premier League table now looks after 9 rounds. Liverpool, business as usual, 25 points from a possible 27. Still just that one draw with Sheffield United at Anfield, of course, which has prevented them from having a 100% record. Spurs, very similar, of course, 24 points. Their only blot, of course, was that 5-4 loss to Liverpool at Anfield, 24 points. But Sunderland, who were the form side coming into this, that first defeat of the season means they stay in third on 20 points. Then it's Middlesbrough on 19 points. Middlesbrough, by the way, their form is sensational. They are top of the Premier League form chart. I'll show you the form charts in a little bit. Down the bottom of the Premier League, as you can see there, Yeovil propped things up with another defeat. Just 4 points for them. Millwall and Altrincham in the relegation zone on 5. York, just the right side of the line, on 6. With Shrewsbury and Gainsborough struggling as well on 7. In the Championship, AFC Wimbledon and FC United of Manchester cracking 3-3 draw. Crewe 2, FC Halifax 1. Dartford 1, Newport 0. Exeter have beaten Luton 3-1. Gateshead and Wickham with a 0-0 draw. Maidstone 1, Hull 2, so Hull flying. This was the big game at Old Trafford. Man United and Fulham both unbeaten, and they're both still unbeaten after a 2-2 draw. Morecambe 1, Manchester City 1, so City couldn't take advantage. Peterborough 0, Watford 2. Southport 1, Gosport 2, Gosport's first win of the season. Sutton 4, Port Vale 2, and Tamworth 1, Maidenhead 1. So as we say, Man United still unbeaten and still top, but the gap is cut to just a point after their draw. They're on 23, then it's Hull on 22, City are third on 19, with Watford going really well in fourth on 18, Dartford also on 16, and Fulham also still unbeaten, only 3 wins, but look at that, 6 draws they've had already this season, including that one at Old Trafford today. They're on 15 points, and their goal difference means they're currently in the playoff positions. Down the bottom, Gosport are still bottom, but congratulations to them with their first win of the season today, 5 points. Luton and Port Vale in the relegation zone on 6, just clear of Southport on 7, with Gateshead on 8, and Morecambe on 9. In League 1, Bishop Stortford 1, QPR 3, Blackburn with a 3-0 win over Barrow. London Derby, Brentford have beaten Dagenham 3-2. Bristol Rovers and Aston Villa finished 2-2. Chelsea 3, Brighton 1. Coventry 1, Forest 2 in another big match. Mansfield finally off the mark, and what a game, 5-3. They've beaten Ebbsfleet. Portsmouth 1, Telford 1. League leader Sheffield Wednesday still unbeaten with a 4-1 win over North Ferriby. Southend 1, Stalybridge 3. Stoke 2, Chesterfield 0. Stoke are going pretty well at the moment. But this is the big shock scoreline of the day in League 1. West Ham 0, Lincoln 1. West Ham were unbeaten going into this match, but Lincoln with the win. So here's the table. As you can see, Sheffield Wednesday still very much top, and now the only unbeaten side left in the division after West Ham's defeat, 23 points. Forest are back up into second. They're on 22 points along with QPR. Then it's a 4-point gap to Aston Villa and Blackburn on 18. Coventry's goal difference means they stay in the top 6, but they're on a little bit of a dodgy run of form now. They're joined on 17 by Stalybridge and informed Stoke. West Ham's first defeat means they're now 9th. They're joined on 16 by Chelsea and Brentford. Down the bottom, well, Mansfield is still bottom of the table, but their first win of the season was achieved today. They're on 5 points along with Brighton. Southend's goals scored record, as you can see there, they've only scored 7 goals compared to Barrow's 9, means they stay in the relegation zone, just behind Barrow. Then it's Ebbsfleet also on 6, with Dagenham on 7. In League 2, there was a big match between Aldershot and Poole. Poole snuck it with an 81st minute winner, 1-0. Curzon 0, Preston 0, Doncaster 3, Swindon 1, East Thurrock 1, Walsall 1, Gillingham 1, Burnley 2, Hartlepool 2, Bournemouth 2, so the league leaders held to a draw, but they remain unbeaten. MK Dons 1, Rochdale 2, St Albans 2, Cheltenham 2, Stockport and Salford in Greater Manchester Derby shared a 3-3 draw. Wealdstone 2, Truro 5. What a game it was there at Wealdstone. Weston-super-Mare got their first win of the season in a 2-0 win over Alfreton, who were also struggling. And Wigan 4, Stevenage 2. Stevenage, as you can see, they did lead at half-time by 2-1. It would have been back-to-back wins, but Wigan came back to win comfortably in the end. So it's definite Dorset domination at the top. Bournemouth unbeaten and top on 23. Poole second unbeaten on 21. Then it's Truro, Aldershot and Burnley all on 19. Salford are in the current top 6. And look at that, only one defeat so far for Salford. They're on 18 points. Down the bottom, Stevenage back to losing ways despite a great effort at Wigan. They're on 4 points. Then it's Alfreton on 5. Weston's first win means they're 22nd. They're joined on 6 points by Wealdstone, East Thurrock and Gillingham, with Doncaster getting a much-needed win today. They're on 7 points. The National League Premier Division, Brackley 3, Boston 2, Brackley are flying. Cardiff, beaten for the first time this season. Cardiff 0, Newcastle 1, so that was a big match. Chester 2, Harrogate 2, Derby 2, Macclesfield 0, Derby back to winning ways after last week's shock home defeat. Eastleigh 2, Braintree 1, finally a win for Eastleigh. Fleetwood 4, Tranmere 3, back-to-back wins for Fleetwood. Margate 1, West Brom 1, Northampton 3, Crystal Palace 1. Oxford United beating 2-0 at home by Wrexham. Reading thrashing Eastbourne 4-0. Swansea, as you can see, have taken over at the top after their 2-1 win over Bradford. And it was Worcester 2, Oxford City 2. So Swansea, now the only unbeaten side, and to make it even better, they've gone ahead of their Welsh rivals Cardiff in the table. They're now the new league leaders on 23 points. Cardiff dropped to second on 20, with Newcastle, Brackley and West Brom all on 18. Derby's goal difference sees them in the top 6, just ahead of Harrogate, both on 16. Down the bottom, Eastleigh, well, they finally won today, but they remain bottom on 5, with Eastbourne on 6. Macclesfield, Braintree and Northampton all on 7. Macclesfield's goal difference means they're in the drop zone. Fleetwood, well, consecutive wins for them means they're up to 19th now. They're on 8 points along with Tranmere. Chester, you can see, are on 9. National League Championship, Arsenal, they're invincible at the moment, 3-0 win over Bath. Bradford Park Avenue and Accrington was 2-2. Carlisle and Hungerford finished 1-1. Forest Green 0, Kidderminster 5. Kidderminster are flying at the moment. Gloucester 4, Dover 1, back to winning ways for Gloucester. Scunthorpe 3, Grimsby 1 in a Lincolnshire derby. As you can see, it was 1-1 at half-time, but it took 2 late goals from Scunthorpe to finally win it. Solihull 2, Cambridge 1. Some relief for Solihull. Southampton lost at home to Norwich. As you can see, gives a bit of daylight to Arsenal. Torquay 2, Bristol City 0. Whitehawk 3, Barnet 0. And Woking 1, Bromley 3. So Arsenal now have a 4-point lead at the top. Look at that defence. They've conceded just 3 goals and scored 30 in the process. In their first 9 matches this season, they are dominating this division. Southampton stay in second despite that loss. They're on 21, joined by Gloucester. Then it's Kidderminster, who are one of the informed sides in the division. They're on 19. Norwich on 18. Bradford Park Avenue in the top 6 on 17. Forest Green, 9 games gone and still no wins. Thrashed 5-0 at home by Kidderminster today. They're bottom on 3. Then it's Dover on 5, with Bristol City and Grimsby on 6. Grimsby's goal difference by 1 goal sees them just outside the bottom 3. Hungerford struggling on 7. Solihull are up to 17th on 8 points now after their second win of the season. And lastly, National League 1. You can see Fylde 1, Birmingham 3, Boreham Wood 0, Barnsley 3. Bury, back-to-back wins for them, 2-1 win over Leicester. Chelmsford 0, Blackpool 1, took a very late winner for Blackpool to snatch the points. Cheltenham 2, Crawley 2, Colchester 0, Bolton 3, Guiseley 1, Notts County 1, Hampton and Richmond 0, Everton 0, so Everton held to a draw. Hemel Hempstead 0, Chorley 2, league leaders Oldham comfortable again with a 3-1 win over Concord Rangers, and Plymouth are still winless but another point after a 3-3 draw with Leyton Orient, 5 of those goals coming in the first half. So the top 3 are all still unbeaten this season. Oldham top on 25, Bolton second on 23, Everton third on 21, so crucially 4 behind Oldham now after that draw. Then it's a 4-point gap after Everton to Guiseley on 17, with Leicester, Leyton Orient, Birmingham and Hampton all on 15, as you can see there, but Leicester and Leyton Orient in the top 6 on goal difference. Down the bottom, still 2 winless sides, Fylde on 3 and Plymouth on 5, so they are getting a lot of draws, but still neither side has that win yet. Colchester in the relegation zone on alphabetical order behind Boreham Wood. They're joined on they're joined on 7 points and -9 by Concord Rangers. But as you can see, Concord has scored 14. The other 7 pointers are at Cheltenham Town. So that was round 9. If we have a look at the upcoming fixtures for round 10 in the Premier League, you've got Huddersfield against Altrincham, Ipswich Darlington, Millwall against Wolves, Nuneaton against Rotherham, Sheffield United Spurs should be a cracker, Shrewsbury against Burton Albion, Sunderland Liverpool, that is another big match, Welling against Middlesbrough in form, Yeovil against Leeds and York against Gainsborough. In the Championship, you'll see Halifax against Exeter, FC United against Peterborough, Fulham defend their unbeaten record against Crewe, it's Gosport against AFC Wimbledon, Luton against Morecambe, Maidenhead Maidstone, Manchester City at home to Sutton, Newport versus Gateshead, Port Vale against Hull, leaders Manchester United travel to Southport, it's Watford against Dartford and Wycombe against Tamworth. In League One, AFC Telford host league leaders at unbeaten Sheffield Wednesday, Aston Villa take on Blackburn in a big game, it's Barrow against Chelsea, Brighton against Nottingham Forest, Chesterfield Brentford, Dagenham against Bristol Rovers, Ebbsfleet against Bishop Stortford, Lincoln take on Southend in a bit of a 6-pointer, North Ferriby against Mansfield, Portsmouth Stoke, QPR and West Ham should be another good London derby, and Stalybridge against Coventry. In League 2, Alfreton against Wigan, Bournemouth take on Curzon Ashton, can they maintain top spot and an unbeaten record, Burnley against Salt Albans, Charlton against Aldershot, Poole still unbeaten and second behind their Dorset rivals Bournemouth, they take on Wealdstone, Preston against Stockport, Rochdale versus Truro, Salford against East Thurrock, it's Stevenage Doncaster Rovers, Swindon against Gillingham, Walsall MK Dons and Weston-super-Mare against Hartlepool. In the National League Premier Division, Boston United will take on Fleetwood, it's Bradford against Eastleigh, Braintree against Worcester, Crystal Palace against Margate, Eastbourne against Cardiff. Can Cardiff get back to the top after round 9's shock home defeat to Newcastle? Macclesfield against Chester, Newcastle looking to follow up that win against Harrogate Town, Oxford City against Northampton, Swansea, the new league leaders, defending their unbeaten record against Oxford United, Tranmere against Reading, West Brom against Derby should be good, and Wrexham against Brackley. In the National League Championship, it's Accrington against Gloucester, Barnet take on the unbelievable Arsenal, Bath against Solihull Moors, Bristol City versus Bromley, Cambridge against Woking, Dover versus Torquay, Forest Green against Scunthorpe, can Forest Green finally get their first win, Grimsby against Southampton, Hungerford against Bradford Park Avenue, Kidderminster looking to continue their incredible form at home to Carlisle, and Norwich to take on Whitehawk. And lastly, in National League 1, Barnsley against Colchester, Birmingham against Boreham Wood, Blackpool to take on Hemel Hempstead Town. This is undoubtedly the tie of the National League 1 for round 10. Bolton against Oldham, both unbeaten, the current top 2. Can Bolton beat Oldham and move to the top of the division? Cheltenham against Guiseley, Chorley against Hampton and Richmond, Concord Rangers against Plymouth, it's Crawley against Bury, Everton against Leyton Orient, Leicester against Chelmsford, and it's Notts County against AFC Fylde. So no need to show you the current standings. I've shown you the table. The fixture schedule, of course, will just show you the updated round 9. Recent results you've already seen, of course, as well. So the only other thing to show you is the form charts. And as I say, Middlesbrough absolutely flying. You can see there, they and Liverpool both picked up 16 points from the last six games. But Middlesbrough on a 3-match winning streak compared to Liverpool's 2. And it's Spurs and Sunderland on 15. Sunderland had won 6 in a row before today's fixture against Rotherham, which they've lost. So they dropped to 4th in the form chart. Sheffield United still going well on 14, with Wolves on 13. Leeds, look at that, 4 wins in a row for Leeds now. They're 7th in the form chart, which matches their position in the actual table. So they're on the verge of the European places there. And Rotherham going away on 10. Yeovil, a sick record at the minute, and I don't mean sick in the good sense either. Very, very poor. Although it says 6, they actually lost 7 in a row. Shrewsbury have only picked up 1 point recently. Altrincham picked up 2. You look at the form chart in the Championship. Well, Hull are the top form side after United's draw. Hull have won 5 in a row, 16 points. City remain in third in both respects. They're on 13, with Watford and Wycombe going well on 11, and Peterborough doing all right as well, 10 points despite losing in round 9. Luton, Port Vale, Wimbledon, FC United, Morecambe and Gosport all on 5 points, with Gosport 1 in round 9, so congratulations to them. They may still be bottom of the actual table, but in terms of the form chart, they're now up to 19th after that first win of the season. In League One, perhaps no surprise that Sheffield Wednesday are top of that pile as well. 3 wins in a row now, unbeaten this season. Stoke, look at them in second, obviously doing better than their current real-life counterparts. They're on 13 points, and of course have won 4 and drawn 1 in the last 5. And it's QPR, Forest back to winning ways. Blackburn and Villa going well on 12 as well. Bottom of the form chart is Southend, just 1 point from the last 18 available. Barrow, Ebbsfleet and Dagenham on 3. Brighton 4. Bishop Stortford and Mansfield, as you can see there, maybe bottom of the table, but they're up to 18th in the form chart after their first win. They're on 5 points. The League 2 form chart, well, it's Poole Town and Bournemouth, both on 16, but Poole have moved ahead of their Dorset rivals in the form chart. They've got 4 wins in a row. Bournemouth, of course, held that 2 draw by Hartlepool. Aldershot were on a 5-match winning streak as well, but they lost, of course, to Poole. They're on 15. Burnley 13. Truro and Salford both 12. And see, Salford haven't lost in the last 6. At the bottom of that form chart is Alfreton. They were beaten at Weston today. They're on point. Wealdstone 2 points. Swindon, horrible run. 5 defeats in the last 6. They were beaten by Doncaster. Doncaster ended a 5-match losing streak with that win. So that puts them ahead of Swindon, but also on 3. Gillingham, Stevenage and Weston on 4. National League Premier Division form chart. Swansea, absolutely flying. 6 consecutive victories you can see there from the last 6 games. Puts them just ahead of Derby. They got back to winning ways after last week's shock defeat. Brackley and Newcastle won 3 in a row. They're on 11 points along with West Brom and Cardiff. Reading and Harrogate doing right on 10. Well, you have to feel a bit sorry for Eastleigh. They're still bottom of the form chart despite that first win in the season today. They're on 4 from the last 18, with Tranmere, Bradford and Boston having picked up 5. National League Championship form chart, well, Arsenal, that's showing 6 in a row from their last 6 as well. Kidderminster, 4 wins in a row and no defeats in the last 6, is actually the last 7. Gloucester and Southampton on 12, but Southampton, the second defeat in 6 now for them after that loss to Norwich. Just behind them are Norwich and Carlisle on a decent run of form. You can see there, just 1 defeat in the last 6, which includes 3 wins. Bromley, Scunthorpe and Accrington going well. You can see Bromley and Scunthorpe have identical records. Win, loss, draw, win. Both in the 6 matches. But Bromley are ahead of Scunthorpe because they're actually ahead of them in the real table, 7th to 10th, as you can see there. Bottom of the form chart and bottom of the actual table, Forest Green, 2 points from the last 18. Dover and Solihull with 4, but Solihull, of course, winners in round 9. Bath, Whitehawk and Torquay on 5. Torquay are now, as you can see there, on a little 3-match unbeaten run, so it's not a bad little run of form. And then, very lastly, National League 1. You can see Oldham 6 wins in a row. Bolton 5 wins in a row. They meet next week in a huge encounter. Everton still unbeaten but held to a draw today, with Birmingham going brilliantly on 12 as well. They've also picked up 3 wins and 3 draws in the last 6 games. Leyton Orient 11. Down the bottom, Fylde and Plymouth are still winless. Fylde with 1 point, Plymouth 2 after their draw with Leyton Orient today, and Cheltenham 4 points with Crawley and Blackpool on 5. So that is round 9, absolutely updated. Please keep checking the website and keep checking Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube for more updates as they come. I will, of course, be working on bringing you the results for round 10. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I'll be back with the results for round 10 as soon as possible.